Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Jones, and I'm standing in front of the sign of my church, Cedar Grove Missionary Baptist Church. I'm not the pastor. The pastor is Reverend Elliott Webb. I am associate minister and the minister of music. Cedar Grove is located in a small southern rural town called Eagleville, Tennessee. Um, Eagleville, Tennessee, it's not really a diverse city. It's actually made up, the last statistics that I did on it, it's made up about 90, I think 8% Caucasian, and the other percentages is left to a little bit of African American, and I believe it was Hispanic. But Cedar Grove is surrounded by not a lot of businesses, but I'm going to show you. It's surrounded by land. Land, and more land. Yeah. So, when it comes to making its presence known in this place, there are several obstacles that make that real challenging. I believe one of the first ones is that Cedar Grove traditionally has not been a church that has reached out into this community, right? One of the themes of this community is everybody keeps to themselves. You know, you stay with your own kind. You know, family is a real big deal out here, and families stick together and they do everything together. They worship together. They eat together. They do all these things together. And Cedar Grove has for years been a family church. Most of its membership has passed on, has moved on, and most of its membership actually comes from this area out here. Cedar Grove has not done much, has not been very active in getting out into this community and trying to evangelize the community. What Cedar Grove has done in more recent years is it sponsored a couple of food drives here. Cedar Grove does have a fund where for the missions, for people who may be in need, and then we kind of figured out that people were just coming to the church just to get money, and not really coming to worship or anything like that. But those kinds of things we have, Cedar Grove has provided. But as far as going out into the communities, well, I don't think that this community rather, again, it may be not that easy to walk up to someone's house who's almost a block off of the road and try to evangelize and talk. You don't do that. You stay out of you get shot like that, right? So, and I grew up when we were able to do that where I come from. But again, it just makes it very difficult to reach others. In the past, the way we, and I won't say evangelize, but the things that we did was, there are other churches, and this is pre-COVID, there were other churches, African-American churches, there are about two to three in this area, and there were other churches that we would have what we call fellowship, where they would come here to Cedar Grove, and they would bring their choir and their preacher, and they would sing, and we would eat. Oh boy, what we eat. And then next few months or whatever, the next year, we would go to them, and we would just repeat that process over and over. And that was really the only kind of reaching out and associated with others, but everybody was believers. We were not going to those who, um, were unchurched, so to speak. You know, so when it comes to making its presence known in this place, as some of you all may be able to tell from some of my posts, I am struggling with trying to deal with this. I don't think that our instructor meant for this particular assignment to cause any kind of depression or anything, but for me, it does in a sense, because I don't see how to go about breaking the chains that keep us from being able to minister to this community, and some of those chains, if I must be honest, is the racism thing, that creates a divide among the body of Christ, and it's really, really very, very sad. There's another church. Let's see, can you all see it? You may not be able to see it. Let's see, I don't think you can. Yeah, it is. It's way back there in the distance. That's Cumberland Presbyterian Church. And it is an all-white church. Now, I remember years ago, a couple of times, the choir here at Cedar Grove went down there to sing for some occasion. I don't remember what it was. And I was very excited back in those days, because I was thinking, yeah, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're getting to know these people. They're getting to know us, and we can begin fellowship. We can begin to cross those racial lines, that divide us and all this sort of thing. But I guess the proper type of communication wasn't kept between the churches, and we just don't interact. Again, Cedar Grove is made up of members who are mostly family and come from this community. Many have passed on, many have moved on. So Cedar Grove now is left with a remnant of what it was, a remnant of people, and with a leadership that is kind of grounded in traditionalism, fundamentalism, and wow, it just makes it real challenging. And whereas our instructor did not intend for this to be a depressing assignment, it kind of is for me, because I have been called to this place for some reason other than what I came for. I came as a church musician, and now I accepted my calling to preach the gospel and to study, to show myself approved. And what I'm feeling about this church does not seem, it doesn't seem to. I don't see how it's going to grow or continue if things don't change. And then, I don't know what God, will do. I know the issues that the obstacles that we have to deal with here, However, I do believe that with God, all things are possible, and God just does miraculous things. So I don't put it past God to be able to make the church grow or to keep the church open. Um, but that is my only hope, because from what I see, from week to week, and then and as I get assignments like this that cause me to look deeper into what I am dealing with when it comes to this ministry context, um, you know, I can't help but to feel, you know, a tinge of sadness, not knowing, you know, uh, if we're effective at all. If we're effective, to be honest with you, I know we're not effective in the community. We don't associate with the community. The community doesn't associate with us, really. And I don't know how to initiate change on that. I have brought suggestions, but I've been met with opposition from leadership, and for whatever reasons. And so this is where I am. This is where I am. So in completing this assignment, I'm going to do my best, but this is my reality, and I am open to suggestions from this cohort, uh, and including our instructor, something that can I don't know help ease my troubled mind about this situation here that we face. At any rate, um, this is a good class, um, but it does unveil the reality of the ministry context that we are in. And for me, it's not a pretty sight. Thank you.